Today on What's Next.
All of us will face change, either by force or by choice, which at that point, life calls us to this new adventure.
If you don't set goals that seem unachievable, you never live life to the fullest.
Your brain has the ability to grow and change even as you get older. One of the most effective ways to do this is to try something new.
Hello and welcome to Growing Boulder's What's Next. This is the show for people of all ages and all life stages because we all need inspiration to create a happier and healthier future. I'm Mark Middleton. On today's show, we will be celebrating the opportunity to set new goals for ourselves. At Growing Boulder, we like to remind people that we're no longer constrained to a linear lifestyle. It's never too late or too early to pursue your passions. You can start school or go back to school at 60. You can start a business at 70. You can become a first-time athlete at 80, fall in love at 90, or write a book at 100. When it comes to witnessing inspirational examples of goal setters, it's tough to find a better event than the Olympics. There were so many examples of Growing Boulder moments at the Paris Games, but here are just a few of our favorites. The oldest competitor at the Games was Juan Antonio Jimenez Cobo, a 65-year-old who represented Spain in the equestrian competition. We saw a 58-year-old grandmother from Chile make her Olympic debut competing in table tennis, saying she finally got a chance to make her childhood dreams come true. 51-year-old Andy McDonald became the oldest skateboarding competitor in the history of the Games. In basketball, the USA men's team won gold with their oldest roster ever, headlined by 39-year-old LeBron James, while the women also won gold thanks to the efforts of 42-year-old Diana Taurasi. More Olympic-caliber proof that it's never too late? Well, how about Kristen Faulkner, who didn't even start cycling until after college and decided to quit her day job to pursue her passion, and then became the first American to win the women's road race in 40 years. And finally, though she is just 27 years old, gymnast Simone Biles had a Growing Boulder moment by bucking the streak of all-around champions who were under the age of 20, something that hadn't been done since 1976. Growing Boulder has met and interviewed Olympic legends throughout the years to see what they've learned that might apply to each and every one of us. They've offered so many valuable lessons, but here are just a few. We begin with Apollo Ono, an 8-time medalist speed skater. Since retiring from the sport, this Olympic legend shared his advice on embracing the changes we will all face in life.
All of us will face change, either by force or by choice, which at that point, life calls us to this new adventure, so to speak. And as we begin upon this new adventure and this new path, it sometimes feels scary and uncertain. And we have been somewhat hardwired through our DNA to not want to go do those things that are unfamiliar in those environments or outside of our routine, because that blueprint gives us a safety and security affirmation that what we want and we desire. But we also know that to be constantly thrown out of the nest is to be fully alive and to live life in a way that will help you adapt and perform well and grow. And we all seek progress. And so instead of shying away from change, we can choose instead to embrace it and embrace it in a way that gives us this catalyst to latch onto. And this catalyst can be metabolized in a variety of different ways. But that is the hard pivot. And either by force or by choice, it will happen. We will all face loss in some capacity in our life, and we will be faced with how to deal with that. There will be a mourning period. There will be an acceptance period. There will be a surrendering to the outcome period. And then from there, we can begin the process of actually transforming and transitioning beyond those steps.
How do you look at age? You don't sound like you're afraid of it. I mean, you almost sound like you're excited about what's next.
I embrace age, and I hope and pray that I'm becoming more wise and making perhaps maybe less mistakes than I did in the previous decade. I think, look, aging is a process in which it unfolds new beginnings in the same way, right? We've always thought that I'm stuck doing the things that I've always done, but the reality is that you're always growing and adapting. And I look back on the life that I've lived so far, and it's been filled with incredible championship-like moments. And it's been filled with incredible hardships and failures at the same time. And that is what makes up a well-lived life. And hopefully, I can live the next decade with as much intensity and passion and drive to help other people as I was gifted, as life had gifted to me during the last 20 years. So I'm on a mission.
He definitely sounds like a guy who has fallen a few times only to get back up and win gold medals. Of course, we're not all Olympic speed skaters, but we do all face change, especially as we age. Change in careers and relationships and physical abilities and more. But like Ono says, we can embrace the change. We can transform. We can create a what's next that we love. Dara Torres is one of the greatest swimmers in history, winning 12 Olympic medals. At the age of 41, she came out of retirement to set a new American record and make the Olympic team for a record 5th time. She shared this flexibility and stretching regimen with Growing Bolder, which fueled her comeback. Her message for others looking to make comebacks of their own was short and to the point.
By me swimming fast, that it will make people realize they don't have to put age limits on their dreams no matter what it is.
So, no matter what your goals or dreams are for your next stage in life, don't allow your age to be an excuse to not try. Like Torres said, dreams don't have age limits. If you've ever dreamed of writing a book, of going back to school, learning how to cook, or traveling the world, you are not too old, and it is not too late. All right, time for one more Olympic lesson, this one from our friend, 3-time Olympic gold medalist Rowdy Gaines. Of course, now you know him as a huge swimming success, but everything wasn't easy for Rowdy. In fact, he failed at sports over and over and over and over and over again before he finally found success.
Hi, I'm Rowdy Gaines, 3-time Olympic gold medalist at the 1984 Summer Games in Los Angeles. To me, growing bolder means never giving up, even if it means taking a while to find that passion or to find something that you're good at. I didn't start swimming until I was a junior in high school. I was 17 years old. And the reason is because I failed in 5 other sports: football, baseball, basketball, golf, and tennis. Each one I tried out for, and each one I was cut in. But I never gave up. And I think that's the lesson here, is you never want to give up on your dreams. Whether you're 17 or 70, we all have dreams. And I am living proof that dreams do come true as long as you believe in yourself and as long as you surround yourself with people who believe in you. So get out there, take some chances, because you never really fail until you stop trying.
Our failures aren't failures. We just don't realize it at the time. If we allow them to be, they are just stepping stones to what's next. Back in his teens, Rowdy didn't realize his failures were in fact leading him to a legendary swimming career, which in turn led to a legendary broadcasting career. What path might your failures be leading you down? Well, don't give up on your dreams, no matter what challenges might come your way. You can watch more stories on Olympic athletes who are growing bolder and so much more by heading to our free streaming platform at watch.growingbolder.com.
If you don't set goals that seem unachievable, you never live life to the fullest.
Welcome back to What's Next as we celebrate the opportunity to set and achieve new goals at any age and any stage of our life. Doug Allman is a man whose goals have been focused on nothing short of saving the lives of millions from cancer. He's dedicated his career to battling the disease at organizations like Livestrong and Pelotonia. He even started his own Allman Foundation to raise money to support young adults and families who have been impacted by cancer. Allman isn't just a cancer care advocate. He's a 3-time cancer survivor himself, beginning with a diagnosis when he was just 19 years old.
I was in the best shape of my life. And, it's just not something as a 19-year-old you would ever think about. I didn't know anything about cancer. I was so naive. I was absolutely shocked. Cancer is so hard to deal with, even when you have all the resources. When you have insurance, when you have family and support and great doctors and great access, it's still hard. So imagine how hard it is for people that go by themselves, that may not be educated, they may not have insurance, they may not have access that we might have.
It was that compassion that led Doug on his lifelong journey to help others with the disease, a journey that also led him to climb the world's tallest freestanding mountain, Kilimanjaro, along with 15 other cancer survivors and advocates. To others, this goal may have sounded too extreme or too dangerous, but as Doug told me, life is all about setting goals that may seem too challenging.
If you don't set goals that seem unachievable, you never live life to the fullest. I'm as nervous as can be about tomorrow and the next day, and I have a lot of doubts, but I think it's the group and the community that will carry us all to the top. And when things get hard, we'll think about those people that we love and those people that we wish were here with us.
Doug did, in fact, achieve that goal, as you can see here in this photo with his fellow climbers on Kilimanjaro. Doug Allman is the ultimate example of a man who is driven by passion and compassion. He and his organizations have now raised hundreds of millions of dollars for cancer research and programs. He's given hope to millions worldwide, and he's made the cancer journey more manageable for survivors and their families. Doug believes in setting goals that may seem unachievable because he knows that our reach can in fact exceed our grasp, especially as we age, because the boundaries of possibility have been drawn by an ageist culture. When we surround ourselves with others who share our belief, who are also setting goals that seem unachievable, amazing things can happen. For you, it might not be surviving cancer or climbing a mountain. It might be rebounding from surgery or the loss of a loved one. It might be running a few miles, losing a few pounds, or learning a new instrument. Whatever it is, don't be afraid to reach for more than seems possible, because that's growing bolder.
Your brain has the ability to grow and change even as you get older. One of the most effective ways to do this is to try something new.
Welcome back to What's Next. One of the biggest and most important discoveries in the entire history of neuroscience is neuroplasticity. That's the fact that the brain can continue to create new neural pathways throughout our lifespan. And this ability is far more important than simply disproving the proverb, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. Developing new neural pathways is key to keeping a healthy brain and preventing cognitive decline. So the big question is, how do we do it? Dr. Cody Sipe, a renowned expert on cognitive fitness, says, try something new because novelty builds a bolder brain.
One of the most exciting discoveries over the past 20 years has been neuroplasticity. And that is your brain has the ability to grow and change even as you get older. That is, we can create new brain cells, new connections among those cells, and even create new brain networks. One of the most effective ways to do this is to try something new, novel movements. Things that are new really overload and stimulate the brain because your brain has to figure out how to perform that activity. For example, if you try to brush your teeth with your left hand and you're not used to it, usually at first it's going to be pretty rough and you might end up brushing your face. But over time you get better at it because your brain figures out how to perform that movement. Or we think about dance. Dance is a very effective way to stimulate the brain. What is the best type of dance to stimulate neuroplasticity? It's actually the dance you don't know, because your brain has to figure out these new steps, this new pattern, this new rhythm to new music. And that puts it on overload. It creates this overdrive, this stimulus that's going to then create these new brain networks that's going to help you to think better, to think clearer, and maintain a sharper brain as you get older. So if you really want to stimulate your brain, try to incorporate things that you normally don't do into your daily routine. That could be normal things that you're doing around the house, or that could be things that are more adventurous, like going out and trying a new sport, a new activity, a new game. But get out there and try something new, and your brain will thank you for it.
There you have it. As we continue our focus today on goal setting, we should all add try something new to our list so we can all work towards the ultimate goal of building a bolder brain. You can watch more of our Bolder Brain shorts with Dr. Cody Sipe now on our free streaming platform, watch.growingbolder.com. All of which brings us to our bold social clip of the day, a message from a 60-something YouTuber, musician, and producer.
If you don't do something by age 30, you'll never be able to do it for the rest of your life, because that's when you're able to really learn. That I believed forever, except for the fact that it's been disproven by things I've been able to do and learn after 30. At age 35, I started my first band. At age 36, we got signed, and at age 37, we got dropped. At age 41, I had my first platinum record as a producer. At age 54, I started this YouTube channel, having never posted on social media. This channel has over 4 million followers. My Instagram has over 1 million. The idea that you have to do things when you're young is not true. It takes a lot of energy, but it can be done. And you could do it too, if you're willing to work hard enough.
I'm a former football player. Yeah, college, little league, pound football. Loved it. You know what I love too? The halftime pep talk. The coach would sit us down and would pour into us. Regardless of the score, he would pour. If we were losing big time, the pouring lasted even longer. Inevitably, in most cases, that halftime pep talk got us fired up, and we went out there and took care of business. Well, I have a pep talk for you. We're still in the midst of this pandemic. But like my coach used to say, we have to have a short memory. We can't think about the play that just happened or the play before that. We have to look forward and project success. He challenged us to be an MVP. I'm gonna challenge you. M stands for mindset. We have to have the appropriate mindset to move forward, to bounce back, to feel the fear and move in. 2, the V, we have to visualize. Think about where we're going. Think about the choices we're going to make and shake off what happened in the past. And the 3rd, or the P, an MVP, we have to perform. We have to be purposeful, and we have to project positivity to be that MVP. Are you listening closely? It's halftime. This pandemic hopefully is trending away. Now, what are you going to do? Are you ready? Let's put our hands together. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Go do it.
Welcome back to Growing Boulder's What's Next. Are you following us on our social media platforms? You can easily get inspiration in the palm of your hand from us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and of course on Facebook, where you can chime in on the Your Take question every week. This time we ask, what was one of your favorite inspirational moments or lessons from the Summer Olympic Games? Fenna says she was inspired by Femke Bol in the 400-meter mixed relay when the track star from the Netherlands showed great determination by passing 3 women ahead of her in the final turn to take home the gold. Syl says Noah Lyles was an inspiration, especially since he suffers from asthma. The 100-meter gold medalist was just awesome in Paris. Carol Meyer was inspired by watching Simone Biles win 3 gold medals in Paris, while Trina says she just loves seeing the USA female gymnasts support the women competing from other countries. And finally, Joyce took home the most important lesson of all, that we can all get along even when competing. I love so many individual moments at the Olympics, which are the greatest and clearest example of human potential. They teach us that great success is never accomplished alone. The first thing nearly every Olympic champion says through tears in the moments following their accomplishment is, I could not have done this without the support and encouragement of many others. But for me, the real takeaway is always the same. The Olympics provide a much-needed, hopeful vision for mankind because we live in a world fractured by hate and fear. When stripped of politics and 30-second commercials for things we don't need, the Olympics reveal a common humanity, a common kindness, a common compassion. Men and women speaking different languages, coming from different backgrounds, all competing with everything they have, not just against one another, but with one another, celebrating with, learning from, and consoling one another, and realizing once again that we are all the same. These seeds of hope have been planted nearly every 4 years since the first modern Olympics in 1896. If only they would take root and extend beyond 3 weeks instead of returning us to our regularly scheduled programming of hate and division. We'll see you next time.